Hey, Jesse here. This might be one of the first videos that I upload to my channel. And I just wanted to make this video for the purpose of helping people that might have pericarditis or be experiencing it or going through something with that condition. And I just want this channel also to be something that helps people. And so anyway, I just wanted to kind of give my personal experience with pericarditis. So if anyone is currently going through something with that, they can see this video. Maybe it'll give them some indicators on what they can be doing, and who knows, maybe in the comment section one of you guys can give me some insight if you've also dealt with this, on just kind of what I can be doing differently. So basically, this all started for me in May, around like May, I'll say 20th. It was kind of like in the last week of May or a little bit before the last week. And it's currently, I don't know when this will upload, but I'm recording this on July 21st. And so basically, it has been quite the journey. It's been 2 months of just no activity, no anything I've wanted to do. I work a job that in construction that requires a lot of physical activity, and so I've not been able to work. So between this and then coronavirus, it's been quite the experience. And so yeah, so I guess let's just like jump into what I have, kind of my journey up until now, and hopefully some of you guys will maybe that those of you who are kind of dealing with this can get an idea of what got an eyelash in my eye, can get an idea of like what you can be doing and what steps to take. So in May, at the end of May, I was painting a house on the inside for my job, and I had an episode, like if a heart attack on a pain scale is like a 10 out of 10, I would say I had like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 on the pain scale. And I can handle pain. Like, I do not have trouble dealing with pain or pushing through pain, sometimes to my detriment, but this was like pretty bad. So had this episode, had all this pain, ended up finishing painting the house because it happened right before I was done. And then I got out of the house, and it was just, they hadn't poured concrete for the garage yet. So I ended up coming out of the house and just laying in this this layer of gravel. I just laid on my back and just was trying to like let this, whatever it was, subside, because I knew it was bad. And at first I thought, oh man, this is kind of like heartburn or what's going on here. And it probably was not heartburn, as I learned later. So I kind of forgot that had happened that day, and I ended up going home, cleaning up my normal routine, and I felt, pretty good. I didn't feel too bad anymore. And then I went home, and like I said, I forgot it happened. So then I thought, oh man, it's a good day for a run, because during all this pandemic quarantine business, I've been trying to not gain the Corona 15 or whatever people are calling it. I've been wanting to get in better shape. I had a volleyball tournament coming up, and so I decided to focus on how can I get healthy. And so I'd been running a lot, and so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go on a little run. I had just done a half marathon like a week before or something, so I was just kind of getting back into it after kind of pushing my limits. And so I thought, I'm going to go on a little run, see how I feel. So I start running, and I was getting really tired, and so then I just decided to walk part of the way at one point. And so then I came home, didn't have any issues. And then when I so I went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I had breakfast, was kind of just talking with some people, and then I came back to my room and I was finishing my food and I had another episode. And then the thing I'll also say about the first attack, or whatever you want to call it, first episode of my heart pain, was that I had eaten at Wendy's for lunch before we went to that house, our next job that day, and I was feeling kind of funky from it after like an hour, and so I'm wondering if maybe for me that was the onset, like what like sparked my episode. Because then when the next morning when I'm saying I had breakfast, I had another episode. So I'm wondering, was that part of what happened? Was it not? I don't know, but it seemed like the worst two episodes were pretty closely after I had eaten food. So, and it can be all number of things I've heard. I heard it can be food poisoning if you have like rodents or something in your house, or like mold. It can be maybe a virus. So originally I'm thinking, oh my gosh, do I have coronavirus? Like, I felt like I was being so safe. So then I went to my roommate when I was having that second episode, and it was the same pain level, if not maybe a little worse. So like 7 or an 8 again. So I walked into the kitchen, my roommate was there, and I'm like, dude, I am hurting. Like, I am not feeling well. Like, you need to maybe check up on me in a little bit if I don't come and see you, because I might need to get like taken to the ER or something like that, because I was just feeling like this is not something to just like push aside and forget about. So, and eventually the pain did subside for the most part. At this point in the journey, what you'll hear me say a lot is that I've always, when I do have like flare-ups, my pain level comes to like a 1 or a 2, and it will stay at that for like the whole day. I'll forget about it because I'm like talking to people, but if I like stop and think, it's like always there. And like even right now, it's a little bit there, but we'll get into that. So that episode passed, so now I've had 2 episodes. This is only the second day, and I'm thinking, not sure what's really going on, and I was feeling kind of sick too, right? So when this all started, the pain, those 2 like heart pain, pressure, tightness, that's kind of what I had as symptoms. But then other symptoms came, like fever and having a migraine. I never had like my arm go numb like they say you do sometimes to your neck, or like I never had, for coronavirus, some of the symptoms are like you lose your sense of smell or taste. Like I never had that, and so it was kind of peculiar. But with coronavirus, it's like, I mean, you guys know, it's freaking crazy out there. There's so much information and misinformation that it's like, what do you trust anymore? What do you listen to? So I ended up going, I forget which day it was. I think it was the next day. I went to urgent care, so I called my doctor and was like, because I kept going through these swings. At night, I would get a bad fever, and it would subside before I was going to go to bed, which was nice because I never had to like try to sleep in pain. But then it would subside. I would sleep in the morning, feel great as far as the fever goes, no fever or like a reduced fever. And then it would climb, and then a fever would start to build again, and I'd end up at 100 or 101 degrees Fahrenheit, and then sometimes a migraine. And so one night my roommates were like playing a board game, and something happened where they lost or whatever, and then I hear screaming, and I'm like, what in the world? What is happening out there? I have a migraine, I'm dying in my room. So, because my roommates quarantined me off. That was the other thing. As soon as we thought it could be, we came up with a plan of, I'm going to be in my room unless I have to go to a doctor appointment, and they're going to bring me food, bring me water, and I'm just here. So this was my home. This room was the only like area I saw, and then I have a bathroom over there because I have the master suite. So I like only touched my stuff. Like I never would touch any of the other stuff. They would figure out food for me, so it was really nice. As far as like keeping them safe. So eventually went to urgent care like a few days after all this stuff started. They ran EKG on me, they did a chest x-ray, and then they did a COVID test. And what I learned was the COVID test, when they do a nose swab one, they should do both sides for you. They only did one side for me, and it came up negative. In the end, it was because I was negative, but apparently they're supposed to do both nostrils to reduce the likelihood of a false negative, because they want to make sure that they really tested it as best they could in that instance, so that, you know, if one comes up negative and the other positive, then now you got a positive. But if they both come up negative, then that's like, whoa, there's even less chance of a false negative. So ended up going back. So I had all the tests, and they just thought it was kind of weird that what my symptoms are, but you know, this is early on, so everyone doesn't really know what maybe could happen. And there was, there were like cases of people being positive with coronavirus, but having like young people like me having like, because I didn't have any respiratory symptoms, but they were having chest issues with like their heart. And so then I thought, oh, this sounds a little too similar to what I'm going through, so I better check and make sure. So ended up getting my test result negative. Everyone was pretty excited in my house and anyone we had interacted with. And then, like I said, I just always had this constant pain though as I'm going through this. Like eventually the like flu-like symptoms, so like my fever and my migraines or headaches and different things, those all subsided and went away. So I was like feeling good, but then my heart, I'm still, and even now, right, I'm still having issues where I guess the main thing is you want to keep your heart rate low because of how the whole thing works. So anyway, so I when I finally got better, I went to my normal doctor. They checked me out, did another EKG. That looked fine again. And then they did they ended up saying I was prescribed originally prednisone or whatever, I forget how to pronounce it, but this was from urgent care. They prescribed that, and then colchicine, and I'll try to maybe write it in the video here so I spell it right, even if I didn't pronounce it right. And so I got those two, and then they were saying like to take, my mom wanted me to take like baby aspirin because she wanted me to try to like take some sort of like pain reducer or whatever. So I was taking just like one little baby aspirin a day with those others, and nothing really changed during that time as far as pain goes. If it did, it was very subtle. And which will seem to be a trend. Like that's something I'll explain at the end. But yeah, so then I went back. That was urgent care. Fast forwarding back to where we are in like June or whenever it was, where I'm finally getting to go to my doctor after having all the COVID-like symptoms, and those were gone. So I go back. He gives me a refill on the colchicine. He cancels out that other one that I was taking, which I had finished, and then decided to prescribe me to take 2 Aleve. I think it was 2 times a day or something like that. And so I was doing that, and I was starting to feel really good. And then he was saying that like what we would do is, now that I'm starting to get better, it seems this next week I could try to lift up to 15 pounds. And if that was good, then I could move up to 30 the following week. And then if that was good, I could return to normal activities, kind of a thing. What he kind of didn't mention was like, if I'm not feeling good or I'm still feeling worn out or pain or exhausted in my heart, then I should not be doing those activities, or I should be taking it slower. Because like I said before, I'm in construction. I work a physical job. So like he was saying I could try to do light duty stuff with those pound limit weeks. And the 15-pound week, I ended up not working. I stayed home. But then in the 30-pound week, I tried to go back to work. And as the week progressed, my symptoms, my pain started to get worse, and to the point where like I had to stop working again. So since coronavirus has happened, because of all that pattern, I have not worked more than like 4 weeks, maybe even less, because of everything that's happened. And so I'm in Washington State, by the way. And so we had like, you know, we were shut down, I think, a lot earlier than a lot of the other states. So anyway, so I just haven't been working. It's been, you know, that's its own struggle. I'll probably talk about that on my podcast or something else some other time. But so the pain started coming back. So the pain starts coming back, and then I decide, or I messaged my doctor, and my doctor says, you should come back in. So I come back in, we run some blood tests, one of which is ESR, or like SED rate, SED being spelled SED. And I guess that's some sort of protein or indicator for, if it's high, it's a good indicator that your pericardium, which is the thing that's inflamed or has fluid in between it and the heart, that's where the disease name comes from, of pericarditis. So we run the tests. I asked for a COVID antibody test too, since I figured why not? We might as well like double check, make sure it wasn't like a false negative. One, just because I thought it would be useful for humanity to have like another case if I was positive, for them to like do research on. And so anyway, yeah, so I ended up being negative on the antibody test, so I never had coronavirus for sure at that point. And I ended up having that one, the ESR test. All the other ones were normal. I had 2 others, blood tests, but the ESR one, it was a little high. I was at like 17 or something. So then, which I took retook the test a few weeks later, and I was down to 15, which is within normal levels. So it meant like I was healing pretty well. So then I was like taking it real easy. My heart was starting to come back to a good spot. There's some discomfort there, you know, it depended on the day. And so now we're at July, and I had been taking like 3 weeks of like not doing anything, which was hard. No work, no running, no volleyball, all these things that I was doing a lot of before. So it kind of sucked. Also, I guess I'll mention that in that 15-pound allowance week before I tried going back to work, I was trying to lift like 15-pound dumbbells and feeling pretty tired quick with doing that, even though like I'm a pretty strong guy for like for my size right now. So anyway, so then I've just been chilling and relaxing and not really knowing kind of what activity to do and what that looks like for me. It's part of the reason I want to make this video. So if some of you are also active individuals trying to figure out how much can I do or whatever, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm taking it day by day and just looking at, am I, you know, after I do some activity, am I feeling good? Is there pain? It's like I keep having to think about this. And so like about a week and a half ago now, I tried working out a little bit with resistance bands and with the dumbbells again, and I felt okay, and I think I was like, okay, that's probably enough. And then I ended up going swimming, I think, at the end of that day too, that same day, and I think that kind of overdid it for me, because I was just like, I don't know, I was kind of feeling it. So the pain started to come back. And since then, it's kind of been there at a low level of pain, like a 1 or whatever. And then this, just a couple days ago, my friends who have been waiting to get married for a really long time were able to do a small ceremony and reception. And so I was wanting to help with that, so I decided to offer to be their wedding coordinator, which I had never done before, which probably was not the best idea with my heart thing and with COVID adding an extra layer of like planning and stuff that needed to happen with that. So did it. We made it through. I think it went well. There was a lot I learned from that whole experience, but in the end, at the end of, we did the ceremony, I did the rehearsal day, then we did the ceremony, we got to the reception, and I'm sitting down realizing, I'm a little bit more pain right now than I was before. And I don't know if it was because the heat, because I guess your heart rate goes up with that, because I brought my smartwatch to see if I was having an okay heart rate and stuff at rest, and because normally I was at 60. But out there in the heat, I was at like 114, so basically double. So I think it was just a lot, and now I'm trying to rest and not trying to do too much, but it's a bummer. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say in this one. I'll probably do in a little update. What I've seen from my own research is it seems like this is a very long grind. That's what I was kind of mentioning before, is like, it is a slow recovery. And so I'm just trying to make peace with the fact that like I can't really do much, and then I'm job searching and trying to figure out, okay, I can't do my physical job. What can I be doing in the meantime? So I've been researching graphic design, and I'm going to be making this video and working on my video editing skills maybe, but it's been a learning experience, and I've been trying to learn to rest. And I think maybe America's been kind of trying to learn to rest, as far as in the world, I guess, as far as like we were all really used to this just rat race. And I think I was less so used to it. I was doing a good job, but I think a lot of people are realizing what's most important, and maybe how we need to change our culture and society to reflect that. So anyway, basically where I'm at currently, in the end, TLDR, maybe I'll put a little disclaimer at the start of the video, so if you want to skip to this part you can, but having a little bit of pain still. It's been 2 months, still having a little bit of pain, still taking colchicine, going to be refilling that prescription once I run out in like a week. And I've been I reduced my Aleve and stuff. Oh, I left this part out. They prescribed me a stronger anti-inflammatory, but it ruined my appetite and made me feel nauseous. So we stopped doing that and just allowed me to do Aleve again. So I was looking for the bottle, but it's over there, and I'm not going to get up. So anyway, so I've just been taking colchicine, Aleve, resting as much as I can, and just trying to improve myself and better myself as best I can and stay positive, and trying to stay up to date on BLM stuff going on and other world stuff, like basically you could call it like, I guess, the apartheid in Israel, and just like all sorts of really crazy stuff going on in the world. So just trying to stay up to date and care and see what I can be doing to help. But there's not much I can do to improve myself on a physical level right now, which kind of sucks. So anyway, that's me. That's Jesse Z for today. And I'll maybe keep putting videos on here. I didn't see many videos about pericarditis on YouTube, so I thought, what the heck? I'll give some of my insight and see if it can help some people. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.